Welcome to the Theater of Others podcast. My name is Adam Marple, and I'm the co-artistic director of the Theater of Others. With the COVID-19 pandemic forcing a shutdown and reevaluation of space and gathering, we at the Theater of Others are thinking about what stories we need and how best we can share them. We believe space is psychology, and it informs the way in which an audience interacts and reacts to what is presented to them. We create uniquely theatrical events in bespoke sensory performance spaces crafted to encourage curiosity and grant the audience permission to commune with the play. Now that space has moved online, how can we encourage interaction and action amongst an audience virtually? The Theater of Others produces plays that both welcome and challenge the audience. We are committed to international collaboration and are a laboratory that helps artists grow through intensive study of their craft. The Theater of Others creates a shared community of artists and audiences for the purpose of exploring the most profound issues of our lives and times. We believe the play watches the audience. The audience is necessary, and they are witness to what happens. And you get to be witness to us making that happen. The purpose of this podcast is to open up our process and let you in. We're peeling back the curtain, so to speak, and encouraging you to follow along, to ponder, prod, and question, to join us and criticize us if need be. Being a witness is no passive task, and it requires much from you. Are you up for the journey? On the podcast today from Melbourne, Australia, are co-artistic directors Budi Miller and myself in Cairo, Egypt. This podcast contains explicit language.
Hi, Adam.
Hi, Budi.
How you going?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm really good. Ooh, good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just coming back into my body because I have to deal with our producer and his questions. His deep, heartfelt queries about my skills.
He's asking the hard questions.
He's asking the hard questions.
Yeah.
Do you sing? I was like, what do I sing? It's Fantasia Black.
That is how you answered it. That's true.
That's exactly how I answered it. Exactly. Do you sing, Adam?
I can sing, but I don't.
What do you sing? What's your song in karaoke?
I don't
Karaoke.
have no. I never get up for karaoke. I've never done karaoke in my life.
Karaoke.
I don't.
It's pronounced karaoke.
Great. I won't need to.
Come on, Adam. Say it. Say it. Karaoke.
Get okay.
Yeah, thank you. You've never gotten up.
Nope. Never.
Why?
I don't do it. I don't do karaoke. Karaoke.
Karaoke. Anna, are you okay? Karaoke, baby.
Lord.
That's because it's 7 o'clock in the morning for me.
Yeah, I know, and it's 11 o'clock at night for me.
That's why I'm not on voice, because I haven't had time to do my proper vocals. Ooh.
That's the reason. Of all the things that I've heard at an audition before, somebody comes in and says, I'm sorry, I'm not on voice today. It's 7 a.m.
Is that a segue? Did you just segue?
I mean, I did try to just throw the ball up in the air and just see if you would pick it up.
Oh my God, you segued, and we don't even know what your day is like. We don't even know what you've done. We don't even know how you are today, and you just segue on me like that?
Nobody cares how my day went. Nobody wants to know.
Adam, how did your day go?
It's fine. It's fine. It's no big deal.
How's your life?
It's fine. It's fine. My life is actually really good right now. I have nothing. I have nothing to do right now. Everything is fine. I was sitting down like before this and writing the newest version of the play, the sustainable play.
That's right, because you are a playwright.
I mean, I'm
Adam
adapting a lot
Marple,
of stuff.
everyone, did you hear that? Adam Marple is a playwright.
That's not how I want to be known. But
Speaking of playwrights, we finished Stephen Galtney's playwriting adaptation
how did it go?
workshop.
How did it go?
It was amazing. We had the last class last Saturday. Last Saturday for us in the South and Friday for those in the North. And some great plays came out of it.
It's not how the Earth works.
It is how it works.
It's East and West, but okay.
No. I'm in the South and you're in the North. That is how it works.
But
that's how my time works, and that's how your time works.
Maybe because you're a flat earther. That's what it is. Oh, that explains
shade.
That explains
shade. And you're a vegan now. And you're a vegan.
How very dare you?
How very dare you? I eat meat.
But you now have a play. You have
I have a 4-act play.
What?
I know. It's because
Galtney
is my.
Look at you being all Chekhov over there.
Well, this is the thing. Galtney is my teacher, so you know I can't do a short play.
No, that's for sure. Yeah, you're making an Einstein on the beach over there.
Oh, it's gonna be really good, Adam. It's gonna be really good.
What did you?
And it was so good, and having that weekly provocation, because I love provocations. So having to weekly submit. There was one week that I wrote. I was because we were dealing with an octoroon, and I was like, I can't. My body, my brain, my soul, my spirit can't touch this shit right now. And I wrote a paragraph, and it was and the way that it was received was pretty fucking awesome. And then I was like, oh, I guess there is something here. And it's it really pushed us to put things on the page, even when we didn't want to put things on the page, and the things we put on the page actually had value. And that paragraph kind of led into my entire 4-act play, which is amazing. So when we do it again next week, I highly recommend people to take it. I might take it again because I just love being able to. Maybe I should go on the wait list. I don't want to take anyone's spot, but I really, really, really want to take it again because I just like the rigor that we had to show up. We had to show up. And things happen when you do that. Okay. By the way, can you see my background?
Yes, I see the
I'm moving
of things. I know.
Yes,
I know.
I'm leaving. I'm moving to Emerald full time.
I like the. I mean, of course, I know Stephen is a phenomenal writer and dramaturg and teacher of playwriting. But what I really like about our workshops is it is the constant showing up and demanding of work, and it's of course nice about it and everything else like that. But of course, when you're not in school, when you're out on your own, when you're freelancing, when you're a professional, but you're not taking classes, the knife gets dull. But having that constant just drip, drip, drip. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good. Yeah. It was so good. And it's only 3 hours a week. And it went by really fast. And it was the weekend for us out here, and it was the evening of Friday night for people in the States. So it was a perfect time. It was great. And when I was dealing with the death of my grandmother, it really kept me focused because I showed up to class even though I was dealing with grief and those kinds of things. So I highly recommend it. Y'all do it if you thought you wanted to do it. You really need to do it next year. And I'll waitlist myself. But if there's a spot for me, I will definitely go in.
Yeah, we will have new workshops to announce in the new year. New master classes. We'll have all kinds of stuff.
I'll be teaching classes. Budi's teaching classes.
Finally,
right? Because the PhD's gonna be done. Dun, 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 dun. I've actually started working on my conclusion. Can you believe it? I'm writing a conclusion right now.
Good.
So yeah,
get it over with.
Yeah. Well, things have happened. Yeah. So you're happy. You have a good life.
Okay life.
You had auditions a couple days ago, didn't you?
I had auditions last week. Yes.
How were they? You like my segue? Oh, bring us
I
back,
mean,
baby. I brought us back.
exactly. I threw the ball up there about 8 minutes ago, but yes.
Because I wasn't ready to play. I
Yeah, yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
talk about golf today. Hey, hey, hey. Jack, I'm gonna sing. I'm gonna sing this whole podcast so you can see that I can sing.
You're just making noises, is what you're doing right now. You're not singing, I wouldn't say. How'd my auditions go? My auditions were, man, I hate auditions. I'll be honest with you. I hate them. If there was any other way,
What is it? Okay, what is it about auditions that you hate?
if there was any other way that we could do this, I would do it. But like,
But you're doing live auditions. Like, not very many people are like. Professional auditions are all happening on tape now. It's so crazy.
yeah, I wouldn't want to do that either, though. I mean, what I want is I want an interview. I want an interview process with the actor, and then maybe we do a little bit of work.
Yeah, but you need to know if the actor can act.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like we do an interview process and we work together. I want to see if they can take notes. I want to see if they can do something. But like, just you got a minute go and then leave the room like that. I got nothing from that. Like, what am I gonna do from that? And then a self tape like I'm the same way. It's just like I'm not
Well,
learning
then
anything
you're the
from that.
director. You can do the audition however you want.
I did, and that's what I did this time. So I had 2 days of auditions, and the first day was a viewpoints workshop, and I just put them through it. I took them for 3 hours, and I saw who picked it up and who understood and who was in their body and who could communicate with their body, and those who could not. And then from that day, I called them back on the next day, and then I gave them the script, and then I gave them a monologue to look at for a little while, come with some choices. They never really come with choices in the first go around, and then I see if they could take direction from me. That's my audition,
And
for
did you
better or worse.
discover? Okay, so I have a question then. Did you discover someone that seemed or that was clearly not in their body when they came in and started working with text? Were they better?
I don't think there was anybody that surprised me on that second day. No, I think there were people that were in their bodies on the first day that as soon as they got text, didn't do anything. But I don't think it was the reverse.
Because I've had situations where I'll do like, for example, auditions for to get into school. Um, where we have a whole movement section and we're looking at how people are moving and they have a voice section, see how they use their voice, and also it's also an opportunity for us to warm them up before they actually do the work.
Yeah.
And I've seen actors that are just I'm like, wow, you do not know your body at all. But then, as soon as they get into being able to use language, because that's how their imagination works, is their imagination gets active from language. Their whole body gets engaged. It's because they're a cognitive brainiac. They understand the nuances of rhetoric and syntax, and they're able to have a point of view about something and put an intention inside of what they're saying, and so then their body gets engaged. But then if you give them the exercise to move, they don't understand that, and that's the thing. It's like there's something that needs to be trained in this person, right? They're
Yeah.
not, it's like, wow, we can train, but let's see if we can train their body into meeting their mind, because their mind is so active, right? And that's why you go to the school and drama school, is to get your skills pushed.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
because, and the problem is that you have so many schools out there, and they're all dangling a carrot of, if you go to this school, you're going to be famous. You're going to have the tools you need to have a professional career. But ultimately, you want a school that's going to develop and give you a holistic kind of release after you're done with them, so that you can go and develop your career. Yes, there are those schools that have the pedigree and privilege and access to industry markers like agents and management teams and casting directors. But ultimately, your life is going to be your life and your career is going to be your career. And the things that you're supposed to have, you will have. And even if you're not supposed to have it, guess what? You ain't going to get it, baby.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great way to go into. That's a great way to like actually go into an audition as well. When preparing for an audition, it's like, why are you auditioning? Because you want this job. Why do you want this job? Because you're an actor. Why are you an actor? Because I'm an artist. Why are you an artist? Because that's the only thing that I can do well, and I love it. I love it. I love being an artist. I love doing my work. And if you look at your audition process as like, I get another opportunity to investigate these roles and these my humanity and trying to discover what these creatures of these characters are. That's where you can, because it's a until you get to a point where people know your work so well they don't need to audition you. You have to use your auditions as like a kind of a um I was gonna say litmus, but the litmus is for us to check and see if you actually can do the job. But it's not a litmus for the actor. It's more of an opportunity to keep discovering your artistry.
Yeah, I wish actors came into an audition room and treated it like a little mini workshop.
Yeah.
Like I did it this way last time. I want to try it. I want to try. In the same parameters, still dealing with things that I'm working on. I want to try. I want to like. I'm negotiating a new space. I'm negotiating new people. There's new feelings in the room. How do I adjust to this? Because I practice this in my room without an audience, and now I've got a very small audience that I can test these things against. I have a little mini workshop with myself and this audience, and maybe I'll even get some notes from the director, and I can see if I can adjust those on the fly. And
And I think,
that's
but I think the workshop is that there's a clear perspective that you have to come in. It's not like you haven't made any choices. It's not like workshop means that I have this is the film that I want to make. This is the play that I want to do. Let's workshop with what I'm bringing in. I'm bringing in something. It's not like you're going in you're not going to bring in. It's like you're going into a workshop. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, so I haven't
no, no,
prepared
of
anything.
course
You know what I
not.
mean? Like,
No,
so
of
it
course
needs
not.
people just need to
But
be
but
clear
it,
about that.
yeah, but all the preparation is that's all that is. It's just preparation. It's not art until you get in front of somebody and you do it, right? It's all you're doing is going over the lines and making choices in your head that you hope make sense, and then you
Wait a
have
minute. So
somebody to see it.
okay, so then we have to talk about preparation, because preparation is not doing it in your head. Preparation is working on the actual material with another human being on the other end, so you can get an active feedback of what you're doing. So it's not like you sit around and you like just you memorize and you look at your script and you have it in your head and you walk around and um you don't know. You have to have people you trust to work with, before you go to an audition, because your nervous system is going to be thrown off if you're going to a live audition, which are rare these days. If you're going into a live audition or a meeting, and you're interacting with another person, you've trained the role to not respond to human energy, to breath, to things moving into space, to talking to another person. And if you can't, and this is the great thing about technology these days, a lot of actors, they just call a friend and work on Zoom together. If you can't get someone physically in the room with you, you can call a friend and work on Zoom. It's the next best thing that you can do, so that you are not working by yourself, because you're never gonna know what it is, and you don't want to act into the mirror.
No.
You can, however, video yourself, and then go back and watch your video and watch your movement and watch the choices you make. But it's still hard to, because you have to be have the it's a real skill to be able to flip the objectivity um, of an ability to see your work and not be judgmental from a subjective place, but be critical from an objective place, so that you're able to. It's like a dialectical like objectivity of like you come back and you can look at it and not look at the images that you're using, but see if the images that you're using are activating, changing you. So almost like looking at yourself as if like a stranger, an alien, and that's a skill. That's a skill, and that doesn't happen overnight, and and that also takes you have to also understand if you're especially if you're a younger actor uh, doing auditions and you're trying to do auditions to get into school, you might not even know what uh, we're looking for in the sense of like what it feels like, looks like when someone is really um, working from an embodied place. So I would say best case scenario is really try to find someone else to work with before you go into the room or send their self tape.
Yeah.
But it's
And
a
do as
workshop.
much as, and do as many as you can, right? I mean, like
Yeah,
the practice makes perfect kind of thing. That's what I'm realizing more and more is I'm auditioning people who never do auditions, and so they end up sucking. And I go, well, of course it sucks. You've never done an audition before, or you do it
yeah,
once or twice a year.
yeah,
What can I
yeah,
expect from you? That's why that's why I don't like the audition process. It just doesn't unless you're in New York, unless you're in LA, unless you're in a major market in the world, you're not doing auditions. You're not
yeah.
constantly doing auditions. So, you know,
And even
you
in the real world, actors get it's like I got an audition. I got if a lot of actors get one or two auditions a month.
yeah.
It's like, and that's why what we were talking about earlier. It's like you got to stay in class. You got to keep stuff. Working with other people, working with other actors. That keeping the tool sharp, so that when you do get an audition, you're ready to go.
Mhm.
It's not like you're trying to like do a pull up when you haven't worked out the whole year. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
You're gonna be dangling like that cat on the tree, going, and that's a horrible feeling. That's a horrible feeling to go into audition and feel unable to connect to the material. And that happens because you aren't putting yourself in situations where you're forced to connect to material. We have spent 3 years, 3 years at a Marple. We have spent 3 years making people do provocations.
Yeah.
You know, provocations. We every single week we give you an opportunity to connect to something in your work to keep it going, to keep it alive, and it came out of our love for theater and being theater artists ourselves and being trapped inside because of a pandemic, and it's grown into what it is today. But it's I mean, for anything, you could use our podcast for figuring out what it is you want to do. Because oftentimes it's like, I need some motivation. But if you sit around and just kind of stew over it and you don't
Yeah.
know, just go to a podcast. Go to the end of one of our podcasts. We have a provocation every single
Every single time.
podcast.
I mean, we have given away like 2 years worth of school of
Yeah,
basically what you would be asking you to do anyway if you were paying us. But
yeah.
yeah,
And so, and I think that's the key to a good audition is preparation, and ability to workshop when you're in the room. You know, and preparation. This is the other thing. I don't know if I've said it enough, but I'm going to keep saying it. Actors that are working, they are working outside of working. They're working their
mm,
asses off. They're not only trying to get work, and they're not only doing work on the set or work on in the rehearsal and on the stage. They're working. They're making their skills stronger. And when they get a role, they go to bed with the role. They fall asleep with the
yeah,
script in the bed with them.
yeah,
You fall in love with the role,
yeah,
right? You how do you get your body to completely surrender to all the different nuances and given circumstances of a character? It's not I've done my work. I clock in and clock out. It's like you have it in your back pocket, and you have a moment like, oh, I remember this. This could really like the way I'm like drinking this coffee reminds me of this moment in this film that I'm working on, and we're always searching. We're always searching for like what shoes does this character wear? How does this what's the gait? What kind of feet or toes do they have? Like what is the tone? I mean, what is the tone of their voice? We're constantly investigating. What is the hair going to be? Like what's my face going to look like? And if you're doing a lot of film, the mirror is important for looking at your angles and trying to figure out what what is the actual image you want to give, because they're moving pictures, so you have to figure out what your pictures are. You can't be afraid of your shape and your face, and you filming yourself like there's so many things you can be doing, so that when you get to a point of an audition, your artistry and your sense of self and stability of your art and craft can work together, as opposed to them being two separate things. And then the audition comes in, and you have to make a decision. May have to make a decision like, what is this, me, or is this the character, or this the when I speak someone else's words, I don't even feel connected to my voice. When I'm speaking now, I feel 100% connected to my voice, and that connection needs to move exactly the same way it does into someone else's text. So when you're completely speaking, it's like, oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I? It's like I'm still in this, in this body using this instrument, and there's no separation, and then you can find the filter in which you want to play with that. And this happens because of practice and training the body and getting into things that help you stay connected and be a holistic sense of self. And I'm kind of on my soapbox here, because it's the audition is moot if you don't do the other work.
Yeah.
And so many actors put so much um, energy into what this audition's going to give me if I get this job. But think about it in this way: would you hire someone who clearly would you hire okay, here we go right here. Would you hire a bartender who doesn't know how to make a margarita? They say they know how to make a margarita. They go up and they get up and they start pouring stuff in there, 'cause they're trying to remember from the book that they read, like what how many, and it's not in their body. And it's a bar that has a lot of people at it, so it's got to be able to have a quick turnaround, and it's a restaurant or a bar that's known for its cocktails. And I'm speaking your language because I know you
I was about to
love a
say.
drink.
I was
Adam
about to
loves a
yeah.
drink.
I love a drink. I was about to say to stretch this analogy even further. They say that if you really want to know the test of this is going to be a good bar or not, the first drink that you order, you don't look at their menu at all. You say, "Give me a daiquiri," and then if they can make a daiquiri, they can make everything else, because the daiquiri is the simplest drink there is. And if they fuck that up, then it doesn't matter what the beautiful cocktail menu they have. And that's exactly what you're talking about, is if you can't do the simplest thing because you haven't practiced the simplest thing 1,000 times, then why am I going to ask you to then play Hamlet for 4 hours? If you can't give me 1 minute of of any other Shakespearean character, then I'm going to pass on you playing Hamlet.
Well, I was just speaking to hi Dimitri. I was speaking to Dimitri, one of my dear friends and cast members of Gabon, who has performed on Broadway, who is a member of the Sydney Dance Company, and he was talking about what were we talking about yesterday? We were talking about simplicity, and uh, and it was like, and I don't remember what specific thing we were talking about, but it was around making art and making something. And we were talking about the acting in our show and all the coaching that I did. And I said, but it was simple. I gave everyone, because I was bringing all kinds of artists together to bring them onto the same page. And
Yeah.
we worked on three things. Three things: space, which connects you to relationship, which connects you to status. Space, relationship, status. And then I let them do their art. Taught them those things, and we went to really, 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 really dark places. And everyone's body was free. No one was hung up. Like there was no residual emotion after doing the things that we had to do
Yeah.
because we worked on the simple, basic structures of space, relationship, and status. Done. Basta. And so then we were talking about simplicity. And I said, he's like, yeah. And I said, but Dimitri, think about it in this way. When you are dancing and you have to raise your leg up high and maintain your balance, how many muscles get engaged? How simple? What if every muscle's engaged, you can't keep your balance. He's like, yeah, exactly. Really good Italian cooking is really good art, right? There's a few ingredients, but they're the best ingredients. But you're not going to be able to control those muscles until you have worked every single muscle to know that those other muscles aren't necessary.
Yeah.
And that's the same for auditions. When somebody comes in and they're in ease because they're doing their work, they're not begging for a job.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, you have no control over what happens
What they're
after you
looking
leave.
for. Yeah. Yeah.
You have no control over what happens before you walk in the room, and you have no control of what happens after you leave the room. The one thing you do have control over is your ability to change the atmosphere when you walk in, because the negotiation of the space is when you walk in the room, they've got the room. If you're dealing with status, they've got the room. It's their room. They've been in there. You're a visitor in their space. So if you walk in and you don't go in with a high level of energy and status, you're not going to be able to equalize yourself so they can actually see you. If you go in, try to be equal with them, or like, oh, I'm sorry for coming, they won't see you and they'll be annoyed because you're making them take the space that you're supposed to be filling up. So you need to be able to fill up the room. And the way you do that is know thyself and know thy work.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
And then that's where it becomes really fun for you as an artist. So like, oh wow, I get to give you my take on this role. I love playing this character. I wanna, and there's this other thing that I'm doing. I wonder if it's gonna come up today because it's really clear for me, and I'm working with these, and and then after you do your work, and a director wants, it's like, hey, I really like this. Let's go a different direction, because what happens is, it's very rare that you're gonna do exactly what the person in the other room wants. It's just like in real life. You can't control someone's thoughts. They're gonna think however they want to think. What you can do is you can let your imagination be so strong that people become interested in what world you're in. Because when you're in the audition, that's the whole point, right? It's your space. What are you gonna do with this space? How are you gonna paint the rooms?
Can we talk practicalities for a second? Because
Yeah.
I ran into this. I've run into this many a times where they save the fireworks for the end, and I've already decided in the first 15 to 30 seconds that I'm not interested in them because they're not giving me anything.
Well, yeah. So let me see if I understand what you mean by saving the fireworks for the end. Saving the best for last. Sometimes the snow comes down in June. Sometimes the sun
Jack,
shines round
can you
the
never ever
moon.
question he does anything ever again? Because
Just when I thought the chance had passed, you went and saved the best for last. Yeah, and that's what we're talking about, right? Saving the best for last. It's
yeah,
like, because you know what happens. You know what happens, and you know that they're saving the best for last because nothing that comes before it has any value.
yeah,
And you need to put value in those things because they're worried that they're not going to be able to hit the button when 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 I say and I cried. You know what I mean? Like
you're right. Yeah,
it's one of those things where like if you are more interested in what's happening right now, all the things that you prepared for in the big moment will have so much value because the thought pattern is what leads you to the moment uh, that you're going to express that big moment of tears or anger or loss or grief or shyness or giddiness and silliness and happiness, whatever the moment is. If you train, it's you know what it is. Okay, so it's like you know the theory of peak moments,
hmm,
where like you know we've got Christmas. Ah, Christmas is great. We got Hanukkah is great. So but like between Christmas and my birthday, there's a drop. Oh, okay. Well, there's not much happening. So, but here it comes. Oh, my birthday's coming. Oh, it's my birthday! Yay! And then okay, well, I don't really, and then everything just drops again, and then all of a sudden it's Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day. Yay! But if you are in contact with your life, those peaks level out. And as an actor and as an artist, you want those peaks to level out to where you are experiencing on a daily basis all the different subtle moments that will surprise you and activate you and make you cry and make you laugh. That should be happening to you all day long. You should be open and free all day long. It just makes you a stronger human being. So then what that does is it strengthens your empathy for your role in a play or a film or a television show or whatever you're doing, a piece of art, a performance piece. And and so what happens is that we can tell that you're saving the best for last because it's just words. You're just speaking
yeah,
words. You're
yeah,
not even speaking from the given circumstances.
yeah.
It's just
There's no
words.
connection. There's no connection. So I check out myself as the director. As I'm
Yeah.
watching it, I go. All right, you're not here. I'm not going to be here either.
You checked out. Guess what? We're going to check out too.
Yeah,
Why should we check in? Why
yeah,
should we check in if you're not checked in?
yeah.
You
I,
know?
I
And
s-
it's,
I had a guy this last week when we were doing the auditions, and I'd given them. I mean, it was basically a cold read audition, so this is a completely different kind of scenario.
yeah,
But
of course.
I had given them about 15 minutes to kind of go outside and kind of work up some stuff on their own, and it was kind of a 2-page monologue, and I gave it to him, and he was doing it, and 15, 20 seconds in, I go, he's waiting until the second page, and I knew the play. Obviously, I wrote it, so I went up to right before he turned the page, and I go, okay, thank you very much. He's like, oh no, wait, I don't get to do any more. I was like, no, you did. You auditioned. This was it. No, no, but I have so much more I could do. Then why didn't you do it in the first page? It was.
So I have a question. So this is a really good question for you, Mr. Director. What is the value of a cold read?
Value for the cold read for me, I'm sure, is very, very different from other people. I want to see what their first take on something is. I mean, I always do this in my rehearsals anyway. I always give the actors the first go before I impose any ideas. Like, what are they going to bring to the table? And it's not, I mean, I don't usually get anything grand in rehearsal, but every once in a while I'll get somebody who's bold. I'll get somebody who says, fuck it, I'll just try something. But for me, it's also a chance for me to kind of then, once they get through with that, to go, okay, great. So here's a couple of notes. Here's some things, space, relationship, status. Let's just work on those three things as you mentioned. Can they take direction? Can they now go back in and quickly adjust, pivot, and come back in? Or are they stuck on first initial thoughts or presupposed thoughts? Where are they at? What is their level of maneuverability? That's what it is for me.
So what do you do with a dyslexic person on a cold
Uh,
read?
we so that's why I always give them the time. I never just hand it to them and say, "Let's do a read." That's just mean. So I always give 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Go outside. I'll watch somebody else. You come back in later, and then I can tell if it's a. I mean, especially because I'm living overseas and dealing with English as second language. I can always tell: is it a language problem? Is it a language acquisition problem, or is it just bad acting? So I was dealing with someone who feels much more comfortable acting in Arabic than she does in English, and I actually happen to have the script in two different versions because I'm doing both versions. And so as soon as I saw her kind of making those kind of really short, choppy English sentences because she couldn't get a flow, I just traded it out with her. I said, "Let's do it again in the Arabic. It's the same story, same concepts, same. Let's just try this and see." So I would know, okay, great. I would need to work with her on English. I would need to work with her on this. I know this is a thing. This is an accommodation that can be made. That's fantastic. Good. Let's deal with images. Let's deal with space then. Let's deal with something else.
Okay, so that was what you would do with a dyslexic as well?
Yeah, I'm talking. I've not worked with in an audition setting someone who has presented themselves to me as dyslexic. So the only thing that I know that I can correlate to is language is an issue for this person. How do I work with this person in an audition as a cold read? Yeah.
Yeah, and so are you saying you become more invested in their ability to take on the role from their audition that they bring in, right?
I'm
So you
more
see
I'm
that they
more
can act.
I'm more interested in the choices that they can make physically, spatially, imagistically, where it doesn't have to be. I mean, honestly, I don't care if these words come out. This is this is not the performance night, so it's not. If you messed up my words, ugh, God, I can't on an audition. Oh my God, it's like no, okay, I'm not that asshole.
That was the comma there.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, well, because I just think that like all of those like different ways and rules like change with this new like digital world,
Mm.
um, of self tapes, and it's like a lot of because it's just so convenient for the industry now. It's like they're keeping it, send me a tape. I mean,
Yeah.
for theater, they I remember 6 years ago, someone asked me for a self tape for a theater audition. I was like, yeah, not. It's like, no. It's like that's not the kind of theater I want to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now it's just standard. It's just what it is. It's what people are doing. So we'll have to definitely do a podcast on the self tape.
I'm not ready
Yeah.
for that bold new world. I'm not. I'll be I'll
Well,
be the crotchety old man.
I'm gonna have to hold your hand, and I'm gonna show you the forest for the trees, and we're gonna go into the woods. We go again. Da, 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 da. Oh no, I take that back. Oh no, I didn't do that. I know that that's your kryptonite. I'm sorry. Share my life, take me for what I am, 'cause I'll never change all my colors for you. I had to change it on you. I had to get that out of your head. Sorry, 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 Adam. I'm sorry, sorry, sorry. Is it gone?
Dead to me.
Ah! Then this is the next worst thing to feeding you fish.
Yeah, it is. It's true.
Ladies and gentlemen and non-binary conforming individuals, Adam Marple is violently allergic to the taste of fish
And the sound of musical theater.
and the sound of musical theater. Well, on that note, I think we should take a break.
Yeah. Jack, don't you dare play a show tune here.
We should come back for provocations. What do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Jakina, Jack, can you play some music that's not too much of a jingle for Adam Marple? Ladies and gentlemen and non-binary conforming individuals, you are listening to the stereo sounds of JGB. Provocations. We are back for provocations. Adam Marple. Hang on, I have to hydrate in case I have a solo.
God.
So, you have a provocation?
I think it's just the provocation that if you don't have an audition, set up a mock audition for yourself. I mean, you should have a constantly kind of give yourself different scenarios in which you would audition for that play. Like, make up a reason why that director would call you in, what you would have for them, and it's not just the same things that you always have. I've got my Henry VI monologue that I've had for 20 years now, and it's
Okay,
just
give it to me. Give me a couple lines.
he that shall live this day and see old age will yearly on this vigil feast his neighbors and say tomorrow is St. Crispin's Day. Then shall he shed his sleeves and show his scars and say these wounds I had on Crispin's Day. Old men forget, yet all men forget. Yeah, like I've got it. It's just it's
Is that how you're going to audition it?
not at all. I'm never going to audition it. But when I did it as a director, I got to experience it in a brand new way, something that I just had for 20 years in my head all the time. And I go, oh, finally I get to work on the scene. Finally I get
Wait. I missed that third line. Can you say it again?
No.
I thought you froze. Come on, let me hear it. Come on.
He that shall live this day and see old age will yearly on this vigil feast his neighbors and say, tomorrow is St. Crispin's Day. Then shall he shed his sleeves and show his scars and say, these wounds I had on Crispin's Day. Old men forget, yet all shall be forgot, but he'll remember with advantages what feats he did that day. Then shall our names be in their mouths. Harry the King, Bedford and Exeter, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Gloucester, be in their flowing cups freshly remember it. This story shall the good man teach his son, and Crispin shall ne'er go by from this day to the ending of the world, and we in it be remember it. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers, for he today that sheds his blood with me will be my brother, be he ne'er so vile. This day shall gentle his condition, and gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed and hold their manhoods cheap, whilst any speaks that fought with us on St. Crispin's Day.
Sometimes the snow comes down in June.
Yeah. That would be our version of Henry V, and then we would have that song come in, the titles would come down. Yeah.
Sometimes the jack goes round the moon. My provocation is I want you to go on an audition. I want you to go on audition. You know, see what's. I mean, it's easier for New York. You've got backstage and there's freaking auditions everywhere. But you just sit like in the room. I mean, go on an audition. If it like just because in the old days, what we used to do is we would just do auditions. We wouldn't go for the role. We would just go and do an audition just because we needed to get, keep our chops nice and fit. There were so many times that I went on auditions that I actually didn't want to be cast, and it happened to me. Like I would get cast. I said, no, I, it doesn't fit in my schedule. But just to like go and be in that vibration is really important, and also to keep training yourself to understand that this window of what it is to be an actor is part of your discovery, of yourself in a new environment, because it's discovering your artistry in a new environment, and that's really fun. It's like when you're on tour, you have to prepare yourself for a new stage, a new space, new audience, new vibe. It's like let's think of it. You're on tour, you're touring this piece, but go on auditions, go and I know you'll be like, well, Budi, my agent's not sending me on anything. Well, submit yourself then. Find ways to submit yourself. Find it. You have to have a little bit of chutzpah. You gotta have some fortitude to pursue and persevere. That's my provocation.
Yeah.
So how would we even know that any of them have done this?
Because they will have gone to speakpipe.com/theater of others.
Oh.
Speakpipe.com/theater of others.
What?
Theater of others, all one word. Theater with
One
an
word?
R-E.
Just one word and an R-E?
Yeah. They're going to leave a 90-second voice message there. They can tell us how their audition went.
90. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
They could also...
And then if they don't do that? Okay.
They could
what
also
else can they
go
do?
to podcast@theaterofothers.com.
Boom.
Yeah. Or
what?
they could go to Facebook, Instagram, and our website.
We're on the gram, y'all.
It's true. We are.
Mm-hmm.
Been there
We
for a
are.
while.
We're on the gram. Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if they're going to do that, they should also do something else.
I feel like they should subscribe. Because we come into your inbox every week. And if you want to get a part of this conversation, to get in the dialogue, get in the provocations, you need to subscribe. And if you like us, you can do what my Uber driver does. What does my Uber driver do, Adam Marple? He gives me what?
5-star.
5-star. 5-star. You give me 5-star, I give you 5-star. And if you really like us, give us a comment. Tell us you like us. Tell us what you like about the podcast. It really works, actually. People respond to comments. Put us in the narrative. We've been doing this for 3 years. 3 years. We're coming up on the end of the season.
Yeah, man. 3 years. About to do season
5,000, 25,600 episodes. 525,000 moments so dear. 525,600 episodes.
This episode needs
3
to end.
seasons of the year.
This episode needs to end so I can stop hearing these songs.
No. I love you, Adam. I love you so much.
Mm-hmm.
You don't love me. You don't.
I love your husband.
And I am telling you, I'm not going. You're the best friend I've ever known. There's no way I'm going ever go.
In this episode,
Adam,
Budi tortures Adam for 55 minutes.
Will you please tell your wife I love her?
I will, as long as you tell your husband that I love him.
I will. Do you love Obama?
Yeah, Obama's okay. Obama's great. I don't have the attachment to Obama that I do to Akshay.
Yes, well, that's true. That's true. I love you so much.
I love you too.
And the rest of y'all, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Theater of Others podcast. Make sure to visit our website, theaterofothers.org, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. A special thank you to Purple Planet for the music you've heard. The Theater of Others creates a shared community of artists and audiences for the purposes of exploring the most profound issues of our lives and times. We believe the play watches the audience. The audience is necessary, and they are witness to what happens. And you get to be witness to us making that happen. The purpose of this podcast is to open up our process and let you in. We're peeling back the curtain, so to speak, and encouraging you to follow along, to ponder, prod, and question, to join us and criticize us if need be. Being a witness is no passive task and requires much from you. Are you up for the journey? Be sure to tune in next week for our next journey.